Hi, and welcome to Destination from Rocketstock. In this quick video tutorial, I'll be showing you how to customize and export your project. But before we get started, make sure you've downloaded and installed the proper fonts. You can find the link in the PDF and the zip. Once you've done that, you can open up the file. You may be greeted with this message. If you are, just click OK. This is the first thing you'll see when you open up the project. We're inside the project right now. I'm just going to zoom this out. This is the section called the scene options, where we will later customize some colors and effects. Up here is the project panel, and here you can see 00 assets down to 06 export zone. These just represent the different steps you'll need to take to complete your project, and we'll go through them. Assets is just a place to put the imported images and video that you want to use in your project. Modify logo is where we'll swap out our logo for your logo. Modify images and video is where we'll take the time to place in your images and video. Modify text is where we will change the titles. Scene options is where we are now, and where we'll later customize the effects and colors. Add scenes is a folder that contains some extra scenes in case you want to expand or move around your project a little bit. And export zone is where we'll finally render it out. Don't worry about project construction, it just contains compositions and files that you don't need to worry about. Okay, so let's get started. Let's go up to modify logo, open up that folder. In there you'll see a composition called logo. Let's double click on that. If you don't see anything here, just drag the playhead. And then we see the logo. So go down into the timeline, find the layer that says delete me, click on it and hit backspace to delete. And then we want to import your logo. Let's go to the project panel, press Command or Control I to import. And let's navigate to your files. There it is. Once you've imported your logo, just drag it into the composition. Here you can see it's much too large, so I'm going to find the layer. Here it is. And I'm going to press S to scale. I'm going to scale it down. That's good. I should point out here that your logo should be a PNG with an alpha channel or an Adobe Illustrator file. If it's not, you may run into some issues where when we try to colorize it, you may see a block of color. If you do, that's the problem. I'm going to move on to the next step now, which is modify images and video. Let's open up that folder. There we go. We'll get to extra images and video in a moment, but first of all, let's go to image and video 01, open that up. Now it's time to import some footage. So again, let's hit Command or Control I to import. Let's navigate to your footage. Here we've got some good stuff. If you want to import more than one at once, just click on one, hold down Shift, then click Import. This may take a few moments. There we go. Now we choose something to import. So just grab on one of the files and drag it in. As you can see, it's a bit large, so I'm going to hit S to scale and scale it down. Just make sure that the edges don't go inside the box. There we are. And now let's go back to scene options to take a look. Okay, there we go. We can see our first piece. Now don't worry about the number overlaying it. These numbers are the image and video guides, and they correspond with the compositions here. So 02 is this one. 03 is this one, etc. These are just here to help you get your bearings, because sometimes you may be confused where you are and not know which composition you want to be editing. You can turn these off at any time by going to the scene options, going to the effects controls, and clicking the image and video guides. That'll turn it off. If we go back to the first one that we have populated, and I turn that off, you'll see. There we go. If you don't see the effect controls, just go to Window, Effect Controls. There you go. Now let's go back to the project panel, and let's populate a few more. Let's go to number 2. Again, let's find some footage. Make sure the playhead is somewhere within the timeline. Drag it in. And again, we're going to scale it down. It's fine. Let's do 1 or 2 more. Let's go to image and video 3, double click, move the playhead, grab some footage or image, bring it in, scale it down, and then finally number 4. Same thing. There we go. Now I'm not going to do all of them. It'll take too much time, and it's the same process, which I think you understand now. So I'm going to close these up. And again, I'm going to turn off the image and video guides. There we go. And now if we move the playhead, we can see how it's starting to take shape, just by filling out those compositions. Okay, so once you've filled them all out, we can move on to the modify text. Let's open up scene 1 text. And here we go. Okay, here we can see some color-coded text. You want to make sure that you're keeping in mind that these are all related. So are these, and these. So let's go to the beginning, the intro. And to change it, just double-click and type something new. hit enter. If you want to adjust the fonts at all, just use the character panel. In this case, I might just turn this bold. There we go. Let's move the playhead forward a bit until we get to our first section of text. Okay, so the date is the top line, the title is the large area, and then the subtitle is the small area. And the same goes for all of them, so we'll do a few now. I'm going to change the date. By the way, this doesn't have to be a date, this can be whatever you want it to be. Let's double click on here. If you want to change the size of this, just have it selected and just drag this down. And let's double click on the title. Don't worry about the colors for now, we'll get to that later. Let's go down to the subtitle and double click. There we go, very easy. So if we drag back, we have our beginning title. We have our first set of titles with our populated video. We move on. We come to our second lot. Let's do these two. Let's double click on our title. And let's double click on our subtitle here. And so on. It's the same process through all of them. And then once you've completed them all, we can close this up. We can go back to our scene options to take a look. There we go. And then you want to do the rest of the scenes. So scene 2 text, very similar. So scene 2 text is a little different. This is our big full screen. I'll fill out the video for this now, so we can give it context. I'll turn back on my image and video guides, so I can see this is number 5 is the big area. So I'm going to go to image and video, fill out number 5. Let's bring in some footage. Great. So we can see this. Now control, if we go back to effect controls, this will affect the size of this area. And this works in exactly the same way as the others did. Okay, back to scene options. I'm going to turn off the image and video guide again. Go back to our project panel, there we go. So this is scene 1. This is scene 2. If we move forward, this is scene 3. So to edit this text, you want to go to scene 3 text, which is here. And just exactly the same process as we did before. And then scene 4 is exactly the same as scene 2. Okay, great. Let's close these up. Go back to scene options. I'm just going to move all these files into the assets folder to keep it tidy. Okay, so once you've filled out all of your image and video slides and you've modified your text, it's time to go to the scene options to adjust some colors and effects. If you've closed this by accident, you can access it from this folder. Just double click. Click on the scene options layer and then go to the effect controls. Now we've already covered image and video guides, which give you your bearing and let you know which number composition you need to change. Floor gradient 1 and 2 affects the color of the floor. Let's go ahead and change that now. Change this for like a light orangey color. Go floor gradient 2, maybe a deeper orange. It's pretty bright, but you can change it to whatever you want. Floor dots affects the color of the floor dots, obviously. Let's change this to like a pure white. There we go. I'll show you black just to show you. There we go. The floor dot opacity just changes how much you can see them. If we put it right up, you can see them quite brightly. 20% is more subtle. Let's adjust the main color, take a look. So you can see it's the color of this and the elements that grow out of the corner. Text color 1, let's adjust that. See it's the main large text here. Text color 2 affects the date and the subtitle. And text color 3 affects the colors within the next scene. As you can see. Just a question of changing the colors to your preferences. There's a slight light on here, which you can see better when it's a bit darker, so I'll bring this down. We'll change the intensity of the light now. As you can see, it's there. Just depends on the look you want to get. Actually, I kind of like it out. There we go. And I think I'm going to change the text color. There we are. You can see how quickly you can change the look and feel of the video. And then finally, colorize logo affects the logo at the end, which is here. If you turn this off, it'll be the logo's original colors, which case ours is black and gray, which doesn't really work with this, so I want to use this. And then logo color obviously is the color of the colorization. There we are. If you just see a solid block here, as I mentioned earlier, it's because your logo doesn't have an alpha channel and it's trying to override color on just non-alpha data, so that's the issue. Okay, if we just scrub through it again. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, let's go back to the project panel. And let's open up Add Scenes. This composition here called Scenes, if you double click, you'll see you get to sequence out your scenes. If you want to change the order, you could do so here by dragging them around. You could also add extra scenes, allow you to add 2 more scenes, which are both full screen titles. So if we open up and take a look, they look a lot like scene 2 and scene 6. Just gives you extra options. Scene 7. And if you wanted to adjust the images for this, if you go back inside the images video folder, you'll see the extra ones here, 11 and 12. We can just confirm that by turning on the video guides and then go back to our extra scenes here. Yep, 11 and 12. Now, if you wanted to include these in your video and want to adjust it, all you have to do is go into the scenes composition, which was inside the add scenes section. And then you can drag these around or move them. Bring in an extra. That's it, very easy. See? Okay. So once this is all completed, you've done all of your images and video, you've modified your logo, you've modified your text, you've adjusted all your colors, and you've added any extra scenes or moved them around. It's time to go to the export zone. Open up that. Okay, choose a resolution. In this case, I go 1920 by 1080. Here we go. Okay, now would be a good time to check through for your colors and style. And now here we can see we've left on our image and video guides, which is not good because these will end up in your final video, which we don't want. So let's go back to scene options. And then turn off image and video guides. There we go. Glad we caught that. So within the export zone destination composition that you've chosen, go to composition, add to render queue. And then all we need to do is click on lossless. I'm going to choose QuickTime. Format H.264, 30 megabits, okay. We have no audio in this one, so I'm going to turn that off. But if you do, just leave it on. Click OK. Then all we have to do is choose a file name and location. In this case, that's fine. Click Save, and hit Render. Okay, and that's it. As you can see, you can quickly make a professional looking video and adjust the colors and style quite quickly. If you have any questions, just email support@rocketstock.com, or you can check our website where we have a number of FAQs and video tutorials. And thanks for choosing Rocketstock.